The GameGear, Sega's answer to a handheld gaming system. So we're going to take this and turn it into this. This is the Retro Pezz. Let's get started. All right, so I already got started and took it apart and also removed all of the capacitors so that way I could go ahead and clean things up and get it ready. These are all the components that I ordered. They're all capacitors that are going to get replaced. And this is the shell I picked up from Handheld Legend along with a button set. And the LCD screen is from retromodding.com. It's the McWills IPS Display. I went ahead and removed the LCD original from the GameGear and also all of the components, including the backlight that are not needed. All of those instructions are from the McWills PDF on installation. All of the capacitor locations for all of the different board types, like 1-chip or 2-chip ASIC, all of that's on the console5.com's wiki page. There's a pretty nice illustration on where all of the components go. So for now, we're taking all of the capacitors and placing them where they need to go. So that way we can go ahead and solder them in. So that's what we're gonna do here. Now, if you notice, everything's sped up pretty fast. There's a lot of tutorials online on how to do a recap on a GameGear. It's not a new thing. Capacitors were really bad in the 90s, and the GameGear was one of the consoles that really suffered from leaky capacitors. So it's pretty much a requirement to do a recap on any GameGear if it hasn't been done already. It's going to save your board. It's going to make it last longer. Now here's the McWill LCD screen. It is an IPS backlit display. Really nice, really crisp, really bright. There's a PDF that shows you how to wire it up and also placements. There's a couple of modifications you need to do to the main board in order for it to work properly. So the PDF that you get from retromodding.com for the McWills screen, it's pretty good. It tells you all the locations of where the wires go. It gives you pointers on how to mount the screen. It also does tell you that you need to make sure that the voltage is exactly 5 volts. So in the case of a GameGear that had not gotten a recap, it is possible that there was more voltage than what is required for the LCD display. So just doing this modification without actually recapping the console could damage the screen, and that's also outlined on the instruction PDF from McWills. So as you can see, there's a lot of little wires that are needed to go from the McWills screen to different points on the main board. There's also wires that need to go onto the LCD ribbon connectors on the main board itself. You can probably do this modification with a magnifying glass. I just happen to have a microscope. It makes it so much easier. But as long as you can see what you're doing and not do any bridging, you should be good to go. It's a little bit involved, but as long as you follow the directions or the instructions, I didn't have any issues at all with the installation. It was pretty easy to follow. Now, the McWills LCD screen also has the ability to output to VGA. And the cool thing about that is you're able to not only plug it into a computer monitor, so you can see it bigger, but you could also use a VGA to HDMI adapter and be able to capture the video gameplay onto your computer, or also see it on a big screen as well. The full installation from capacitors to the screen itself took just under 2 hours. So I had to cut a lot of the installation and speed up the video. So the instructions give you the number of the pin that you need to solder to, and so that's what you could see here is me counting up and down on the different pins to make sure to place the wire in the proper location. You just want to take your time, make sure you got the correct pin, that way you don't have a problem with your screen, because these screens are not cheap. So you want to make sure to do it right the first time. All right, so now we're just adding power and ground. This is the last little bit before putting the console back together again. And there you go. It's all complete. So now let's go ahead and put it into the new shell. First, we're going to add all the buttons in here. We'll add the membranes. The kit comes with its own screws, so just make sure to use those to secure everything down. Don't use the screws that came with the original GameGear. Okay, so you just gotta work it a little bit. There were a couple of wires that were in the way. Now, one thing to note while I'm putting the screws back in, the top middle screw that goes behind the cartridge, that one is not going to be used because with the McWills screen, we had to cut that plastic standoff in order for it to fit. And there it is, Sega GameGear complete with the custom shell and the LCD screen from McWills. Looks really amazing. It's super bright, it's super clear. I'm very excited about it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and turn on notifications so that you can get more videos like this in the future. And again, thank you for watching.